How to deal with wage loss after an accident. When a person is injured in an accident that is not their fault, Indiana law allows that person to make a claim for damages. One of those claims is a wage loss, and that makes sense. If you're hurt because of the negligence of another person, it's not fair that you have to lose wages to go to the doctor, to go get x-rays, to go get blood work, and it's not fair that you have to use your paid time off or vacation time to go get treatment. You didn't want this. It was forced upon you because of the carelessness of somebody else. And so one of those claims you can make against the person that injured you, in addition for pain and suffering, is wage loss. In fact, Indiana recognizes that wage loss is a huge component of making the person whole after they've been injured. So what's the rule? Here's the law. A person injured by the negligence of another is entitled to reasonable compensation. Reasonable compensation takes into account past, present, and future expenses reasonably necessary for the plaintiff's treatment and all financial losses suffered or to be suffered as a result of the inability to engage in his or her usual occupation. That's a mouthful. What does that mean in layman's terms? Basically, there's two huge parts of this. If you get injured in an accident that's not your fault and you experience wage loss, whether it's you make $50 an hour, $22 an hour, or even $10 an hour, if you miss work to go to doctor's appointments in order to get better, or if the doctor tells you stay off work, well, then you're allowed to make a claim for that time lost. If you're a salaried worker and you're forced to use vacation time or paid time off, or your job is so important you have to actually work in the evenings when you should be spending that time with your family, then you're allowed to make a claim for wage loss. Now, the second component of that is if you've been so severely injured you can't actually do your old job, well, then you have something called diminished earning capacity, and you're allowed to make a claim for the difference in pay between the job you can do and the job you used to do. So there's two huge components, wage loss and diminished earning capacity, and they're both so important in making an injured person whole. So you're probably thinking, Mark, do you have any practical tips to make sure I can recover from my wage loss? I do. Here are the top 5 to-dos when dealing with wage loss. Number 1, clearly communicate to your doctor. Let your doctor know if you're hurting. Why is this so important? Well, your doctor, she's the one that's going to be telling you if you can or cannot go back to work. She's the one that's going to be telling you to go to appointments. She's setting up follow appointments. And if you try to downplay your injuries, if you try to tell your doctor, well, it's not that bad, but you're actually hurting, you're only going to hurt yourself, and you will be hurting your ability to get full compensation. So clearly communicate with your doctor. That's so huge, it's worth saying again. Clearly communicate with your doctor. Number 2, follow your doctor's advice. If your doctor tells you to stay off work for a few days, do it. If the doctor tells you to do light duty, do it. You have to follow your doctor's advice. Failure to follow your doctor's advice can be used against you. The insurance company can say, hey, listen, he didn't do what his doctor told him to do. Therefore, he's hurt worse than he would be, and we don't got to pay him as much. Don't let that happen to you. Follow your doctor's advice. Your doctor has your best interests at heart. Follow their advice. Number 3, keep track of your medical appointments. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. Well, Mark, I've got so many medical appointments. I can't possibly keep track of them all. I'm telling you, do your best. Keep a little journal. Open a note on your iPad or whatever people on Android devices do and keep track of where you're going and how far you're traveling. This is going to be an essential part in us figuring out your wage loss and whether or not you've taken vacation or otherwise used paid time off. Keep track of your doctor's appointments. Number 4, if you lose your job, keep track of where you're applying. A huge part of an injury claim is you have to mitigate your damages. If you lose your job, you have to be able to show that you were at least looking for jobs so long as the doctor said you can work. If you lose your job, you can't just sit back and be like, well, I'm ruined. You have to actually be looking for a job that you can do, because if you don't, they can say, well, we don't really owe them all those lost wages. He wasn't even looking for a job. So keep track of where you apply. Keep track of where you interview. Keep track of anything like that. Use an Excel sheet. Write it on a piece of paper. It doesn't matter. Just keep track. Some of these online sites will actually do it for you. You want to be able to show that if you lost your job, you were trying to find another job that you can do. If you lose your job because of your injuries and you actively try to find another, we can make a claim for wage loss. Number 5, don't base your employment decisions solely on your injury case. Do what makes sense for your employment given your health and the needs of your family. You won't increase your wage loss claim by holding out for the best possible job. And you don't need to. If there's a big gap between the job you had and the job you're able to get and do, we can make a claim for diminished earning capacity. We've done lots of jury trials. In our experience, jurors reward people they perceive who are trying, whether that's in love, life, but also work. Those are the top 5 to-dos for wage loss with an injury case. We love helping injured people get back to where they were. If you have any questions, give us a call. 317-632-3642.